There's some really interesting history in this building, which I didn't know anything about until today. In 1942, it was decided that Brisbane would be the new headquarters for the Allied forces in the Southwest Pacific in the Second World War. And they chose this building as the headquarters. Why did they do that? Well, take a look at it. It's big, it was modern at the time, it was built in 1934, still looks pretty good today, doesn't it? But most importantly, it was made of concrete and steel, so if a bomb whacked it, it offered at least some protection. And who was it they were so keen to protect? Well, there's a clue behind these doors. This office has been lovingly maintained just as it was during the Second World War. And above the fireplace, that's not a picture of a kangaroo or Robert Menzies, it's George Washington. Because this was the office of the Supreme Commander of Allied forces in the Southwest Pacific, not an Australian, General Douglas MacArthur from the US of A. And this is his actual pen set, that's his blotter, there's his telephone, although that's not historically accurate because he had such a morbid loathing of telephones that he wouldn't have one in the office. And if there was a phone call for him, his secretary used to have to bring a phone in and plug it in so he could hear it.
The reason Mac was here was because he'd been forced to flee, strategically retreat, from the Japanese invasion of the Philippines. Not his finest hour, it has to be said.
And all the time he was here, he used to go around Australia saying, "I shall return." In fact, the American government wanted him to change it to "we shall return," but he wouldn't, which I think gives us quite a strong impression of the kind of man he was. MacArthur and the US forces transformed Brisbane. Prior to the war, 300,000 people lived here. Once the Yanks arrived, that was more than doubled to over 600,000, including 2,000 black GIs.
Which was 2,000 too many for the Australian government's liking, thanks to a charming piece of legislation called the White Australia policy. MacArthur's response was that if Australia wanted help, it would have to take what it got, and reluctantly it did. Mind you, that didn't stop the government segregating the blacks from the white population.
The black area was South Brisbane, which is over there across the bridge on the other side of the river. And that was somewhere where no respectable white girl would ever go, particularly after dark. Well, at least that's what they said. It wasn't true, of course. Loads of girls did go there, partly because of the jazz and also to fraternise with the Allies. Have you seen that? Look.